so I went to the Brazil MTC, and that was a really fun experience. I So I didn't get the Provo experience, but it was amazing. It's a one building structure it's in Sao Paulo, but it's in kind of a more neighborhood setting. It's not quite like downtown, but it's 7 stories. The top four are the dorms, and like the bottom 2 or 3 are classrooms and cafeteria and gym and everything. Really fun. Both my teachers were Brazilian, so they worked at the MTC, and then they were actually both students, so they were working part-time and also going to school. So it was a great experience. I didn't have any Brazilians in my district. It was all Americans, and we actually didn't have any sisters in our district. So that's kind of unusual, especially now. I've heard that sometimes girls outweigh the guys, but it was good. We were able to actually leave the MTC on P days. That's the kind of unique thing about Brazil MTC, is that because you are in one building, they don't want you, going crazy, just seriously spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 12 weeks in one building. So on P days, they let you actually leave, and they in the missionary handbook that they give you for the MTC, they have a little perimeter map of where you can go. But you could basically just go around the neighborhood, maybe just like a 5 or 6 block radius around the MTC. And really cool. There's this cookie shop that's right across from the MTC. It's called Mr. Cheney's Cookies. And that's where all the missionaries get their care packages. They get their Dear Elder letters over there. A lot of parents would actually send cookies. So they would just electronically buy cookies, and then their kids could pick up the cookies at Mr. Cheney's. So definitely cool. And that was kind of a hangout spot. And it was fun just to walk around, go into a bookstore, and buy a Brazilian notebook that's for the World Cup, and it's little things like that a notebook looks different than it does here in the States. Pencils, they're different. I don't know. So it's really fun. If you have the opportunity to go to the Brazil MTC, it's an amazing experience. The president of the MTC, his name was President Clark at the time. Great man. We would have devotionals every Tuesday night, I think it was, and I had a great branch president. I'm trying to remember his name. I don't remember it right now, but he was great. He was actually he was a senior missionary working at the Employment Advisement Center. Trying to remember, it's the church's program for employer resources. He was an American, but he was serving as a senior missionary down there, doing that for them, and so he was also our branch president on the side, and he was really thoughtful about making sure that we were being prepared spiritually, that we were growing while in the MTC. He would have interviews with us almost weekly. We would write up a little report to him every week of what we were learning, how we were changing, and interestingly enough, I could see my district change over the course of the time we were there. It was very hard that first week. In fact, that first week there was, well, even I was getting really discouraged, and I was just like, maybe this isn't for me. I mean, really, just thoughts that I had never really had before, because I had always wanted to serve a mission, but just being overloaded with so many foreign things going on, and trying to learn a new language and everything is very overwhelming. And there was actually another elder in my district as well who was contemplating going home. But in that first week, Elder Neil Anderson actually came to the MTC and spoke there, and it really, I think for all of us, because we all talked about it afterwards, but it was just it made such a difference in helping us realize our purpose and why we were there. And although we couldn't say our purpose in the mission language, we knew that we were there to help others come under Christ, and that although this was going to be the hardest thing that we had ever done in our lives, that the Lord would help us, and that if we put in our part, He would open up our mouths and help us spread the gospel. So that was So throughout the time we were there, just we grew spiritually, we grew academically. We even grew physically, with the cafeteria food. I think I gained like 15-20 pounds, but really good food, by the way. But yeah, it was an incredible experience.